If you are frustrated and you quit, this is the #1 reason why you will not succeed. Today we're going to have some fun. We're going to play a video game instead of playing real life. And we're going to talk about how to meet a Filipina, but we're going to use the frame of playing a video game. Many of us are my age and we have never played a video game, but when my children were 13 years old, I bought Super Mario 16. That shows how old I am. And I learned what video games were and how complex they were and how frustrating they could be. And that's what it's like to try and meet a Filipina. Many of you have stumbled. Many of you have run into scammers and cons, and you've had your heart broken, and even some of you have shared some of your gold. And today, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to talk about this task in terms of a video game. And one of the things I learned when my kids were 13 was I turned on this video game and I just kept losing and losing and losing everything I did. It was so frustrating. My kids weren't that frustrated though. They said, "Dad, why don't you buy a cheat book?" I said, "A cheat book?" They said, "Yeah, you can go to the bookstore and someone will have written an entire book and it'll tell you step by step by step how to win the game." And I remember we had a huge snowstorm. I sat home in front of that brand new 65-inch Sony TV playing Super Mario Bros. 16, and I beat the game. It had 16 levels, and I beat it in 2 weeks. I went back to work as a vice president of a Global 100 company. I think my brain was fried, but I beat the game. I was determined. And how anybody could beat that game without a cheat book is beyond me. You would be at it for years and years and years, and you would have lost the power and had it to start over thousands of times before you could have figured it out on your own. And if you're watching this channel and you're watching the other channels in this Philippines niche, how to Philippines, how to meet Filipinas, how to meet online, how to meet boots on the ground, well, you've kind of learned that a cheat book or a way to kind of figure it out without having to make all the mistakes yourself is a useful thing to do. Now, later on, I'm going to tell you how you can get my consulting service and I can help you through every step of this way. But today, it's how to meet a Filipina, the video game. So what do you do when you first get a video game? Well, the first thing you do is you pick an avatar. It could be a little girl. It could be a giant, strong guy with big muscles. It could be a crazy Viking with a beard. They'll have all sorts of funny avatars that you can portray as yourself. Well, in how to meet online or even in person, you have to decide whether you're going to show up well-groomed. Are you going to have a photo of yourself and you're going to leave with your money in front of a Corvette? Are you going to have your fancy home in the suburbs, $1 million home on display in all your photos? Or are you going to be clean shaven? You're going to have lost a little bit of weight. You're going to have put on your best clothing and look trim, neat. And which is your avatar? So that's the first thing we're going to do in this game. We're going to pick an avatar, and then off we go. We're going to play the game of how to meet a Filipina. The first thing to remember in this game is if you are in real life and you lose all your power and you vanish, well, you don't get to come back. If you are told to take that hill and things go wrong, you're not going to try and take that hill the second time. You learn your lesson once. But in a video game, you see your power level go from 80% to 60% to 40%, and poof, it's all gone. And guess what? You just start over. You start over until you figure it out. And this is your task when it comes to Filipinas. And in this game, the Filipina, the video game, there's 12 levels. And let's go through those levels. Now that you've picked your avatar, you're not leading with your money, you've got some photos of you and the guys, you looking good, you looking your best. Let's go play this game. You've been watching all the YouTube vlogs. You've got some cheat codes. You know some things. The #1 thing you've learned is the golden rule: don't share the gold. So this is how the game is played. If you share your gold coins, ching, 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 with anybody in the game, you lose. You're over. You might think you're progressing. You might think you made it to level 2. You might think you made it to level 3. You might think you made it to level 4, but you're not. You're a loser. To win the game, you have to share no gold. Now, you can buy a $20 US dollar birthday gift or send $5 on ding.com for load. That won't make you a loser. But if you break the golden rule and you share your gold with anybody, or you lead with your money and you promise exorbitant allowances, exorbitant housing before meeting a person. So the golden rule works this way. If you have not met the Filipina and you have not experienced your chemistry together and you haven't actually interviewed her in person, you cannot share the gold. In level 1 of the game will defeat you because you are a human male species. And the game designer knows that you're a human male species. So what they're going to do is they're going to flood you with 200 to 400 incoming messages. And they're all going to have pictures of women attached, beautiful women quite often. And now, if you want to win level 1, you have to overwrite the algorithm in your male brain like a German Shepherd would overwrite an algorithm and not salivate at a ribeye. This is the hardest thing to do, and you could stay in level 1 and you would never get to level 2 if you chase the rabbit hole and you chase the incoming email. There could be a few babies in the bathwater, but as a strategy, it's a very bad strategy if you want to get to level 2. So to beat level 1, all you have to do is do not respond to any of the incoming messages. For entertainment purposes, you might take time and look at them. You're a male, you have eyeballs, you want to see what's there. I understand that. But to beat level 1, do not pursue any of the women who write to you. Okay, congratulations, you've made it to level 2. Level 2 is called POGO, P-O-G-O. Effective January 1st here in the Philippines, Philippines overseas gambling operations, POGOs, will be outlawed. President Marcos signed a bill making them illegal. In the past 6 months, thousands of illegal Chinese nationals have been arrested, rounded up, and shipped out because they were engaged in crypto crime and romance scams. So in level 2, you are facing thousands of organized crime scammers. Now, these people have scripts and they have managers and they have lots of successes with men, and they can repeat these scripts over and over. And these scripts work with your algorithm also. So this is a challenging thing. But for the most part, they're looking for people who've never played a video game before, people who are really susceptible, naive, and you will meet women and they will make fast, large monetary requests of you. If you give them usually they'll ask for about $500. If you give them money, they'll come back at you with some ridiculous request to see how naive you really are. These are the people who can't provide a real passport, who can't provide a real work ID, who don't want a video chat. If they do video chat, it lasts 30 seconds. These are all signs that you are about to lose your power and fail at the video game of how to meet a Filipina. If you can see these people for what they are, if it's too good to be true, if they're half Filipino, if they look Ukrainian, if they're asking for $500 after 4 days, if they won't video chat with you, you are losing at level 2. Now, if you bypass all of these very obvious challenges that they present to you, very ridiculous requests for money, you will graduate to level 3. You're finally playing the game. You're now at level 3. Congratulations. In level 3, you're talking to what appears to be a real Filipina. You've initiated contact with her. You personalized a paragraph saying, hey, you're a teacher that took a lot of initiative. I'm not familiar with that city you live in. How many brothers and sisters do you have? And she wrote you back. Holy cow, she's educated. She's pretty. She had 3 or more photos. She's been online in the last 2 to 5 days. You've written her. She's written you back. Now, it's called Find the Blue Dot. What we need to do is we need to figure out if she's really where she says she is. We're still worried about professional scammers and organized crimes. And on your telephone, all you have to do is open your map and zoom in, okay, or not zoom in, but there is a blue dot that shows exactly where I am. And if you can get the Filipina to share her blue dot and walk up to the bathroom mirror or any mirror and just turn her phone around while video chatting you and zoom in and zoom out, you can see exactly where she is the person you're talking to. Now, there's a small remote chance she's using a VPN, but the mapping tool should work. And what we want to do at this first stage is we're beginning the trust and verify stage. If you don't want to lose all your power and end up as roadkill, don't just rush in blindly. All Filipinas give really good first video chat. They're so sweet. And after that first video chat, you could have you could be overwhelmed and forget that you're playing a video game, and there's more levels for you to get through. So in this level, we're going to hold up our passport, ask her to hold up her work ID. We're going to share the blue dot. She says she's a nurse. She's got to have an ID. Every Filipino has a high school yearbook photo. If she can't find it or share it with you, it's a problem. You might not get through level 3. Find the blue dot level 4 of the video game. Congratulations, you've moved on to level 4. And using some of the cheats that I've provided and some that you've learned on YouTube, we're going to now find ourselves in level 4. And in level 4, you've seen the blue dot, you've seen her work ID, everything seems legit. She hasn't asked you for any money. You're pretty sure she's not an organized crime scammer, but you don't really know what you have. But you have found what looks like a unicorn. Now, you do have to compete. You can't just sit here and play Detective Gadget and turn the woman off with all your suspicions and all your notes from the cheat book that says she might be a scammer. You got to play the game as if she's real. And in this portion of the game, we're going to turn on the charm. We're going to have additional photos of ourselves ready to share. We're going to have our video camera looking good. We're not going to be sideways. We're not going to have it on our computer. We're going to use our phone so we can walk around, show things. We're going to look good. We're going to have things that we can talk about. We're going to have a PDF that I provide for free, which talks about 100 questions that you can ask, how to rapidly enhance intimacy. So you're chasing now, and you've got to chase the character, okay? You got to chase the Filipina. And for the next 10 days, roughly from day 5 to day 15, you are going to pursue her and try and make her fall in love with you. And if you can create intimacy and you can move forward and become her number 1 and she becomes your number 1, now you're on the way to level 5. Congratulations, you've arrived at level 5. You've met a Filipina, you're video chatting twice a day, and you seem to be an item. Now, level 5, you're going to get a bonus. Not 100% of the time, but this video game has some extra prizes. And in level 5, you might get a little nighttime visual entertainment. Your Filipina, she might like you so much that right around day 15 or on the way to day 20, she might start to show a little skin. She might give a little show and tell for you at night. She might have some adult conversation with you. Congratulations, you've made it to level 5. Now, while you're enjoying yourself and while you can't believe how lucky you are, the cheat book says right here, you have to do something very important. You have to find her Facebook page. We're still in a trust but verify mode. Yeah, we shared a passport picture, a work photo. Yeah, we did the blue dot. We know she's right where she says she is. But occasionally we'll ask to see the blue dot again. And one of the things we need to do is see if she'll share her real Facebook page. Now, gentlemen, I can't tell you how important this is. If you can't find her Facebook page, well, you might as well go to Thailand and meet somebody because you'll never know the background of the person. It's a guessing game. If you can find her Facebook page, or you have a service like what Chrissy can provide where she'll scrape social media and see open sources and see if the person has a boyfriend, see if they're married, see if they have children, see if they have photos with tattoos at a 5-star resort. What were they doing on Valentine's Day? Who was at their birthday party celebration? Are their relatives working? Did she really go to school? You know, you've only known each other in level 5, 15 days roughly. She's doing a little show and tell. Everything's great. You're using the how to win questions. In your mind, you're about to tell your children, you're about to tell your best friend, you've met a unicorn. But I would encourage you to slow down. The cheat book says, check out her Facebook page. Now, a real Filipina's Facebook page is going to have 750 to 5,000 friends. If you see one with 200 friends, 150, 40 friends, it's a BS second or third page. They often have second and third pages. We have other videos about how to look at the breadcrumbs, how to follow the cookies, and link to other pages and get the real goods on what's going on. But let's assume You've enjoyed your evening entertainment and you found her Facebook page. You're on your way to level 6. It's been over 15 days. She has not asked for money. This is a very critical stage. The short con will reveal itself somewhere between day 5 and day 15, when you're really starting to get it to know each other and there's a little bit of adult fun starting to happen. And even if you've seen her Facebook page and you've seen the blue dot, you've seen her work ID, it's not counterfeit. You've seen her passport even, it's not counterfeit. You haven't cleared level 6 yet because you have to get past 15-day mark. Once you're in that relationship for 15 days, you become somewhat exclusive. Maybe she's taken her profile down, you've taken your profile down. Has she hinted strongly or asked for money? Roughly $150 to $250 is what you're looking for. If she hints at it or asks for it, your power meter went to 0. You can pick a new avatar and start over. In fact, any point in this game, when your power level gets to 0, when you find out the person you're talking to is not real, they're into it for the short con, they need to, you met them 15 days ago, they can't survive without your money. If you don't give them $200, the dog can't get out of the vet, the child can't get the braces, whatever it is, it's called a short con. And the people who play the short con, what they're going to do is they're going to pretend to be exactly the way Chrissy was when I first met her, a pure, real Filipina, until day 15 or day 10, somewhere in there, and then they hint or ask for money. And then your power level goes to 0. Now, some men, they don't notice this. And one of the funny things about this game is when you've already expired, you can continue to send money, you can continue to play the game, you can just go down another path. You're not really playing the game of how to meet a Filipino, you're playing a game of how to give a scammer what they want, how to blindly follow your algorithm because she's pretty. She tells you she was at a club till 6 a.m. She tells you that's her cousin. Whatever it is, you can't allow yourself to not dust yourself off, pick a new avatar, and start to play the game again. But you got to start over at level 0. That's the way the game's played, just like a video game. At level 6, if she's past the short con, now we're looking for toxic jealousy. She's going to become quite possessive, possibly. And a lot of Filipinas have a level of jealousy that you've never witnessed, you've never experienced. Maybe you were that way when you were 16 and you learned, like, hey, you know, enough. Every time you act that way, good things don't happen. And so we all learned when we were 15 or 18, when we first started dating, being stupid jealous doesn't work. So most people in the West, it comes across as overly possessive. It comes across as paranoid. And here in the Philippines, watch out. You're making 4 times what an airline pilot makes, 6 times what an airline pilot makes. Her status is going sky high. She's told her relatives she met a foreigner. She told her relatives she's at level 6 in the game too. And she is going to be extremely possessive. She's going to see when you're online. She's going to want to know, was that a work call? Was that, who are you talking to? Why can't I reach you? I see that you're awake. I can see that you're on WhatsApp. I can see that you're on Messenger. Who was that dinner with? Why can't you call me when you're at a work call? You have to pass an investigation for toxic jealousy. If this person's level of jealousy is so extreme, you need to recognize that your power meter went all the way down to 0. You have not found a unicorn. You have found somebody who has a toxic level of jealousy. Better figure it out now. And when you realize it, go pick a new avatar, start the game over. If you don't have somebody with just a reasonable, all Filipinos are more jealous than average. So we're just looking for toxic jealousy. If she's just more jealous than average, more possessive, she tells you she loves you already, you've only known her 20, 25 days, that's okay. You get to go to level 7. Congratulations. Level 7, you get to book airline tickets. Once you think you've met a unicorn, once the person has passed the short con time period, once you've seen their Facebook page, once you establish they're not toxic jealous, now you're still competing. You may have really met a unicorn, Book your tickets. Let her know you're coming in 30 days. Let her know you're for real. Show her your airplane ticket. And if she's a unicorn, it's okay for her to meet you in the airport. You don't have to listen to these vloggers who tell you that's a crazy mistake. If you think she's a unicorn and she's a keeper and you got lucky, sure, treat her that way. Now, if you want to meet 3 other girls and do boots on the ground, no, don't meet her family. Don't let her meet you at the airport and tell her you're not sure when you're landing or just to surprise her. But it's time to book the ticket. It's time to come and see in first person. So level 7, congratulations, you've made it far enough. You're coming to the Philippines. And in level 7, you get to meet your Filipina. There at the airport, you're going to be scared out of your mind. Does she see you as really old? I mean, you look in the mirror, you look old. You got a man bod. You're not a spring chicken anymore. And she's 30 years old and drop dead gorgeous and what a figure. And you're worried. You're worried. But you know what? The first 30 minutes, you're nervous, but she's doing everything you hoped she would do. And over the next 3 days, well, you get to have real intimacy. You get to experience a real relationship, not a long distance relationship. And if you're lucky, and if you have chemistry, and if that 3 days goes spectacularly, you've made it to level 8. Congratulations. In level 8, you're gonna bond. You and this individual, you and this unicorn, you're going to bond. You're going to say to yourself, this could be the one. You're going to go out to dinner. You're going to go on excursions. You're going to spend time together and you're going to imagine the future. And you're going to talk about what the future together could be like. Does she want to come to your home country? Is she okay with you moving to the Philippines? Is she okay in a long distance relationship until you can retire in 2 or 3 years? Is she okay with you just coming to visit every 6 months or 4 months? But you're going to bond and you're going to meet up and have a meeting of the minds and you're going to see how she handles these issues and whether she's really committed. You want to verify a commitment on her part. Congratulations, you got through level 8 and you've made it to level 9. Level 9 is real life. And in real life, people sometimes can't keep the facade. The mask doesn't stay on. And when they're triggered and they're disappointed, or if you use poor communication skills and you exaggerate, or you raise your voice, or you refuse to open your wallet, people can be triggered. And when people are triggered, sometimes there's something called tampo that shows up. And now we need to know what level of tampo the Filipina has. And if your Filipina has a very high level of tampo, which is a passive-aggressive behavior where she will shut down, stop communication, be really pissed at you, and treat you poorly for maybe days at a time until you apologize and give her what she wants, you have lost all your power, and this is not the Filipina that's a unicorn. This is not a Filipina worth pursuing. This is a Filipina who you're going to end up breaking up with one day when you realize how toxic that tampo is. Tampo and a level of jealousy can create a very miserable experience. And, you know, on these vlogs and on these Facebook groups, you always find men. They were married 6 years, they were married 3 years. They went through all the levels of the game. They thought they won the game, but what happened was they met a woman with toxic levels of jealousy and extremely high levels of tampo. So when I met Chrissy, the first question I asked her was, rate your level of tampo. I think she said 3 or 4. If she'd said 7 or 8, I don't think I would have pursued it. I was like, I'm not interested in winning the game only to find out it was a booby prize, that I ended up with someone toxic and somebody with a level of aggression and poor communication and jealousy. So you don't want to consider yourself a winner if the woman does not have good communication skills. There should be no yelling. There should be no pushing or aggressive fighting, no throwing. There should be no exaggeration, no minimization, no black and white. There's ways to communicate effectively in an adult manner, and that's what you deserve. If you love yourself, don't settle for a Filipino who's got high levels of tampo and who's toxically jealous. Love yourself. Look at the power meter. It went down to 0. Turn around, go back, pick a new avatar, start the game over. But if you're lucky and you can have a reasonable level of tampo and a reasonable level of jealousy, congratulations, you've made it to level 10 in the game. Now, you get to meet the family, because you don't only win a unicorn, in the game, but you get the family that comes with it. And that family might have their hand out. They might have this breadwinner mindset. Here in the Philippines, if one family member does well, one family member is a breadwinner, everybody thinks they won the lottery and everybody might have their hand out. The relatives might be unemployed. The relatives might have severe health issues that no one's had the resources to address. The relatives might be alcoholics or drug users. The relatives could be aggressive. They might want to borrow money immediately. You're going to meet the family. So you didn't just meet a Filipina, you met the family. And it's really important that you get a good Filipina from a good family, because a Filipina with good morals and good ethics and a good family is going to be a good Filipina. And so now you're meeting the family, you're going to buy the lechon, and you're going to buy the 50-pound bag of rice, you're going to meet all the relatives, you're going to spend a little money on a promise ceremony, but now what happens if she's got the wrong kind of family and they have drunken brawls while you're there, they're asking for money, they're greedy, they come to her and ask for money before you even leave that first meeting. Your power level in the game is going down, down, down. Pay attention to it. You just lost the level. You did not clear level 10. Return to the beginning of the game, get a new avatar, start over. You got to love yourself and say to yourself, I deserve the best. I deserve, and I'm not going to settle for someone who's a little bit challenged, someone who has overly challenged family. That's going to be your lot in life, and you're not going to put up with it. Okay, back to the start. But if they're like my family, they're religious and they all have jobs and they've never asked for a dime in 19 months, well, congratulations, you made it to level 11. Now, there's something called the organized crime con, there's something called the short con, and there's something called the long con. And you've heard many stories like this. We've shared a few with you, but you need to stay 3 weeks or longer. In level 11, you're going to stay. You'll see the tampo, you'll see the jealousy, you'll live real life, you'll go to the grocery store together, you'll have to go to the doctor's appointment for a dentist or something. You'll see what real life is like. But the most important thing is you have to be together with your Filipina for 3 weeks or longer to flush out the man in Australia she's been chatting with, to flush out the man in the West Coast she's been chatting with, the guy who's been sending her $200 or $300 every month, the other LDR she was having, and if she's married or has a boyfriend. Those husbands and boyfriends, they can put up with 7 days, no problem. 10 days, maybe. You're sending $500 a month, he can do 2 weeks. But unless you're sending $1,000 a month, he's not going to let you take his wife to the Airbnb every night for 3 weeks and take care of the kids for 3 weeks. And those guys in Australia and the West Coast, they're not going to put up with her being gone and ghosting them for 3 weeks and keep sending money. So the whole thing will blow up if you stick with her and every minute of every day you're with her and there's no time for her to keep those other balls in the air. Congratulations, you've passed level 11. There's no long con going on anymore, or never was. Now, at level 12, this is not quite winning the game, but you're close. You are going to return home to your home country. You're either going to go back to work and wait for your next vacation, you're going to sell your car, get your financial affairs in order, talk to your family, come back to the Philippines to live in the Philippines, or you're going to start the K1 process. And that is the level of the game that can take many, many years to figure out if you're a real winner. Now, if you marry the woman, you have a child with her, and she ends up meeting 3 or 5 young Filipinas in the United States, and after a year or two, she's off. If she ends up going to the discos and cheating on you, and after 2 or 3 years, like you've heard so often, poof, she's gone, well, you didn't really win the game. Level 12 can take a long time, and you will find out after a long time whether you really, really won the game. You know, here in the Philippines, we read a lot of these Facebook groups. And, you know, for every guy who says he got scammed, for every guy that says she lied, for every guy says she was in for the money, there's another guy that says, I've been married 17 years. You know, we had Jack Bauer, write to us, and 7 years, and he has his Filipina back in America. Many men write. They're so happily married. They've won the game. They've been married 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Some are coming back to retire in the Philippines. They've been in the U.S. for 30 years. For everyone that lost level 12, there's another guy that won level 12. And whether you win the game of meeting a Filipina, it's going to take some time. You could have been married a year and it didn't work out. You just weren't that compatible. You rushed into marriage. Or maybe she really wanted children, but she told you she didn't, and now you won't give her a child, and that's going to cause a problem. Maybe you're just a little too tight with your finances, and you want to leave all your money to your kids back home, but you don't want to leave anything when you leave your Filipina behind. And after 6, 7 years, she senses it and she's out. That's not a winner. So level 12 is a long-term proposition. Your goal is to get to level 12. When you've got to level 12, you can consider yourself a preliminary winner of the game of meeting a Filipina. That's where I'm at. I'm married, but we've only been married a short while. We've known each other less than 2 years. I feel like I have met a unicorn. I couldn't be happier. There's not a minute of my day I ever regret going down this path. But you need to wait long term to find out if you're a true winner in the game of meeting a Filipina. So here, let me summarize for you. The number one mistake, the men like myself, the men who've been married 15 years, those who have learned how to get to level 12 or beyond, they all say the same thing. Don't take it so seriously that you quit and give up. You have to persevere. And in this case, in a video game mindset, all you got to do when you lose level 8, all right, well, you have a lot of experience getting through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'll get back to level 8 very quickly, like in a video game. You've navigated those levels before, and boom, you'll find yourself back in level 8, and then you'll try to get to level 9. So you just start over, pick a new avatar, do not quit. And then if you really, really want to expedite your path and learn all the cheats and learn all the codes and learn all the secrets and learn how to find their Facebook page, source their social media, call BS when they ghost you, figure out if the family members are toxic. Well, I'm available for a 90-minute video consultation. Just email me at flymetothephilippines@gmail.com. I'd love to speak with you and help you out. If you're ever in Cagayan de Oro, look me up. Till next time, play your best game in life, make your move, and never give up.